Welcome. You're listening to Dupee Deep with Dr. Nikki. This is the place where witty, irreverent, opinionated perspective meets serious, fact-based discussion. Featuring our host, Dr. Nikki Coleman, and her co-host, Tomas Bell. You can also join in the discussion during our live tapings by following us on Spreaker.com. Now, the doctor is in. It's time to get Dupee Deep.
Hello. Welcome back, everybody. I'm so excited to be back. Tomas?
Hold on.
Still not ready?
I'm not sitting.
Stay ready. Can't get ready.
You saw me picking it up and putting it to my face. So, yeah, I'm ready. Hold on. So I feel like the listeners have missed this. A little sip.
I'm sorry. I was talking over your signature sip. Let's start again.
Thank
I feel
you.
like the listeners have missed
that. Yeah.
No.
People love to
No
hear
one
me
was
sipping
there.
something. People love to hear. People tune in, not to be educated or entertained, but I wonder what he gonna be sipping today. They try to pick this call hashtag pick the sip. They want to know what it is. They're trying to guess what it is.
That's not trending on anyone's social networking site.
Again, it's trending in Tomasia. It's trending in Tomasia. Top 10 trends of 2018. Dr. Nikki, how have you been? We missed you.
It's 2019, the
that's
2019.
right. Oh, yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. I know.
And thus I sip. We miss you. How have you been, Dr. Nikki? What's been going on?
I have been good. I've really been good, but I've been really busy. I'm at that stage in my career where people think you know things, and you're really, really competent. And so that means they ask you to do more things. And I kind of really got overloaded with a lot of different leadership positions at work and other responsibilities. And I just decided for me to be able to be my best self and to live my best life, I was going to just take a step back from active podcasting for a little bit. So I'm ready now, though, because I really missed it around late November when things started to slow down a little bit. I was like, I got things to talk about. I need to get back on the mic with my friend and have him sip very loudly and rudely in people's ears, because apparently America's been missing that.
America has been missing that. That is hilarious.
I'm here to give the people what they need. So
right,
we're back.
Exactly. We're back.
And so much has happened. That was the other thing. So we talk a lot, listeners. Me and Tomas talk far too much. One might think we were in some sort of relationship, except
we are.
He's not
we
my
are.
type.
I am totally her type. I'm a podcaster. She's into podcasters, everyone.
But so all the time I was like, oh, we need to podcast about it. Oh, we need to podcast about it. Oh, we need to podcast about it. So I'm excited about this season. Obviously there are tons of things that are happening all the time for us to talk about. There are things from seasons before that I wanted to get to that we haven't gotten to. So I'm ready to just jump on into it.
Okay, let's do it.
So today's topic is hashtag, because we love a hashtag here at Dupee Deep. Hashtag FOMO. Now, for our listeners under the age of, I'm going to say 45, you might not know what that means. So I'm going to explain it to you and Tomas today. And that is...
You mean over the age of 45. Under the age,
what did I
probably
say?
You said under the age of 45.
Oh,
they probably know over the age of 45.
All my setup for my shade.
Yeah. You see, being shady.
Okay. Let's start over again. For all of those over the age of 45, FOMO stands for fear of missing out. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really know that was a thing. I've seen that hashtag, but I didn't really know what it meant. So I figured out what it meant, and I realized, yeah, I don't have that because I'm grown and I have a lot of business going on. I have a lot of things going on, so I don't really worry about fear of missing out.
You see why your setup got messed up? Because you're shady from the gate. Oh my goodness, I'm in a redwood forest right now. What is going on?
No, I just really feel like a kind of way about this. This whole topic, I really do. So FOMO, fear of missing out. And the reason why I want to talk about it is because a lot of people have been talking about this Fyre Festival documentary. Actually, there's two. There was one that's on HULU, and I think it's called Fyre Fraud, which I love that title. So FYRE for the festival, Fraud. And then there's one on Netflix that I don't remember the full title of. It was a little bit more complicated than that. And it's two really interesting and detailed takes on all the events leading up to and following the dismal hashtag epic fail that was the Fyre Festival. And I started watching the Netflix one, and within the first 5 minutes of watching it, I was like, oh, so these are people who live a life of hype that bought into their own hype, and nobody told them this is only hype. Like hype is not a thing. It's not tangible. You can't sleep on hype. You can't pay bills with hype. It's an idea, a concept, but they really bought into it as this real thing. And ultimately it was their own undoing. And it was all orchestrated by Billy McFarland, which, I mean, first of all, I wouldn't take a grown man named Billy seriously. I just personally would not. You grown, I'm gonna call you William.
I'm not doing that with you. I'm not doing that with you.
Come on, a grown man, that. Timmy.
Nope.
Billy, come on.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
You want me to start calling you Tommy? That's what you want.
First, and
see
foremost.
What I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? The minute I said it, you felt the kind of way.
I ran in my feelings. Yeah,
you were a grown man.
Well, you know what? I think there's marketing behind that. Artists.
What'd you say?
I said I think there's marketing behind that. I think that they're even in the brand of Billy. It's I'm young, I'm hip, I'm in the know. You know, so I think even in his name, and you're going to get into this later, but even in his name, there was branding in that.
That's possibly. Dang. Okay, I didn't even see that one coming. So for those of you who don't know, let's just talk a little bit about the facts about the Fyre Festival. It was supposed to be this exclusive, immersive music festival on a private island. Ooh, sexy. And the coordinators, the idea geniuses behind it, the creators were Billy McFarland, who had a little bit of notoriety in the New York area through some other entrepreneurial endeavors that he had. And at one time, pretty famous, I guess. Pretty famous. He had an MTV Cribs episode. Murder. Ja Rule, also known as...
Was that too loud? Here's the funny thing. I don't remember any of his songs, but I do remember that murder. I do remember he wrote a song for J-Lo in which he had her using the N-word. Oh, well, see, but Ashanti was murder for me.
Oh, what is
Yeah, for me. Right. Ashanti did some things.
Did she? Okay.
Murder.
Okay. So again, within the first 5 minutes, I thought, well, no one, I mean, who hangs their hat on Ja Rule in 2017, 2018? Like, why is that your dude to be rolling with? But anyway, they created this whole thing. And through failure after failure, through fraudulent deal after fraudulent deal through ignoring all the best advice, to ignoring all the warnings around common sense logistical components for people that are actually skilled in these areas, who do these things for a living. They kept going full speed ahead with this event. In a 4-month timeline, they tried to pull off an event that takes years for some people to plan. And they kept going. And the thing that stood out to me was when people tried to give him feedback to say, this might not happen. Let's scale back in this way. Stop promising this much. His constant answer was, we're a solution-focused company. We're not a problems-focused company. And while that sounds really good on paper and looks like a really good tweet, at the end of the day, you have to acknowledge problems to then find the solutions for. You can't just focus on solutions without actually acknowledging what's the underlying problem. And so people paid thousands of dollars. So there's so many things that Tomas and I want to unpack about this. So this festival was supposed to be held in the spring of 2017, right? And they had day tickets. And I want you to hear me clearly, people. Day tickets, meaning a ticket for a day, that ranged from $500 on the low end to $1,500 on the high end. And then they were selling luxury packages at around $12,000. And given that 5,000 tickets were sold, I want to know who these 5,000 people were, because I need new friends. Because they could say, let me see. They could be like, we're going to have a seance with Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, Malcolm X, and MLK for $12K. You want to buy in? And I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm going to have to see the live tweet on it, because I don't have $12K. Like,
full disclosure,
that kind of money.
Full disclosure, I was one of those people that spent $12,000 for one of those luxury tent accommodations. And Sojourner Truth, MLK, Martin Luther King, they were all there.
They were all there.
They were all there.
You were high on drugs and it was in your mind? Like,
I was high on all time. You know what's funny? And I don't want to get too far, but I will say this. When the video dropped, and this was all this kind of stuff happening, and you saw all those orange boxes, because I remember looking at my Instagram feed and seeing this back in 2017, and different people doing this in Fyre Fest. This may be the curse of me actually being a part of the entertainment industry, but I said, I don't know nothing about this. I ain't never heard of it. It ain't been at no meeting I've sat in has anyone said anything about this. And then I found it was being done by people who did this exclusive card that they had here in New York City, where they were selling tickets to things that, right, Magnesis. You're selling tickets to things that you can't get tickets to. Like, they were selling tickets to the Grammys. You can't get tickets to the Grammys. You have to be a part of the Grammys, or the Grammys are giving the tickets away to certain people. Now, if they had been given tickets and they sold them, then that is also fraud, because you can't do that.
Right.
So I'm like, how are you getting tickets to like the moon? Like, where'd you get that from? Wait a minute. Who's your provider, girl? What's your transportation?
StubHub. Where you get
right. I wish I would get a ticket to the moon on StubHub. I wish I would. So out the gate, I was like, I don't even see you for a $500 day pass. Cause what I look like flying to Bahamas for a day, like what I look like. What
I look like in some flip flops or sarong for $500 for one day to do what?
Right.
So the whole thing was a complete disaster. And so if you haven't seen either of the documentaries, I personally found the Netflix one more compelling, actually, than the Hulu one. I think the Hulu one is more like psychoeducational, because it talks a little bit more about people's motivations for why they got into it, which I do want to talk a little bit today in today's show. But from a scope and information perspective, storytelling perspective, I did find the Netflix version more